Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I was on my way home after a very long day working at the hospital. As much as I would have rather just kept driving, the gas light blazing away on my dash told me to stop being lazy and just fill the tank. After hopping off the highway, I head for the small station I frequently use. It only has 2 pumps, both sides so 4 spots. Even though it has great prices, I rarely have to wait more than a car or 2 for an open spot. Other than the station, the road is pretty much empty nearby. The station was on my side of the road, so I turned on my right-hand sign. As I began to turn the wheel into the station, this lunatic in a Mercedes, coming from the other direction, sliced through the outlane and inches across my front bumper to beat me into the parking lot. I slammed on my brakes, sending my gym bag in, a stack of folders shooting off the passenger seat into a jumbled mess on my floor. I am not big when it comes to swearing, but that had me cussing like a sailor. As I pulled in, I noticed a police car in a parking spot outside the building that houses a cashier and a tiny convenience store. My hopes rose as I prayed the officer saw the crazy lady's stunt and I was about to witness instant karma. No such luck. She pulled to one side of the bumps. I pulled to the other. I go out, swipe my card and started the gas flowing. Then, clear as a bell, I hear the snottiest sounding voice issuing from the Mercedes.
This is unbelievable. I was clearly here first, but this idiot is filling up the other car first. No, he hasn't even started me yet.
I swear these people are stupid as heck out here.
Hold on, Shelly. I have to deal with this jerk, or I will be here all day.
And now the dreaded "excuse me" is aimed right at me.
You know you don't need to wait for the tank to be full before you start another car, right? Now come here and take this,
she said, waggling a credit card at me.
If I'm late because of you, I will be calling your boss. And just so you know, it's very rude to serve customers out of order. I'm here ahead of that guy.
I looked down and sure enough, she had a New Jersey license plate. In New Jersey, you don't pump your own gas, an attendant does it for you. My state may have a few full service stations left, but honestly, I haven't seen one in ages. Here you pump for yourself. If she had gotten out of her car, she would have seen I was that guy, but that pump blocked her line of sight. I considered an out-of-work-here lady-style response, but the primed-up entitled expression on this self-absorbed witch required more from me. She stared harder at me, raising her brows, and waggled the card even more empathetically. Before I knew what to do, I let go of my bump, stepped closer, and took the card from her manicured fingers. As she sneered at me, I looked her in the eyes and snapped my hand downward, flinging her card straight into the trash barrel beside the bump. Someone must have thrown a slushy or milkshake in there because the card made an awesome splat sound when it hit the bottom. The harby shrill screech that ensued made the thought of sorting out all the files on the floor of the car almost worth it. It could have stopped there, and I would have happily driven away with my half-full tank, but it was not over yet. She was screaming obscenities at me as I turned away, broiling out the Mercedes in her designer outfit, completely losing her mind. That was when the officer came dashing out of the store. "Excuse me, miss, are you alright? What's going on?"
"This man assaulted me and stole my card. He threw it in there,"
she says, snapping a 3-inch-long nail at the barrel. "Is that correct, sir?" "Barely." She insisted, and I mean insisted, I took her card. Since I'm under no obligation to provide her service with the card, nor did I want it, I disposed of it in the most expedient manner available to me. I replied, gesturing at the wonderful trash receptacle myself. "That was a pretty petty thing to do. I think you should get it for her," the officer decreed. The NJ witch was beaming with smug malice at that. "I will, but under one condition. You detain us both and go look at the store's parking lot camera. Once you see how we entered the lot, you can decide who goes dumpster diving." He raised a brow at me but said, "Fine." He takes our licenses and tells us to wait there. She is a bit perplexed at first, but her natural entitlement must have convinced her she has to be in the right. It is not too long before she began to hiss a handful of pretty vile threats at me. I ignored her and finished filling my tank. My passive smiling confidence must have unnerved her eventually. She crept back into the driver's seat and began talking about lawyers with Shelley. About 20 minutes later, the officer returned. He handed me back my license and told me I'm free to go. Before New Jersey can get a word out, he very sternly rounds on her and says, "Registration, ma'am." That made cleaning up her mess totally worth it. I have lived in this quiet suburban neighborhood for as long as I can remember. It is a peaceful place where everyone looks out for each other and cares about their neighbors. That is until Karen moved in. Karen was a woman who believed that the world revolved around her and that everyone else was there to serve her needs. She never cared about anyone else's feelings or problems and always thought she was right. She was rude, entitled, and her neighbors had grown tired of her behavior. They had put up with her loud music late at night, her neglect of keeping up with her property, and her disregard for others on the road. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when she parked her car in my driveway, completely blocking me in. I knocked on her window and politely asked her to move it, but she just rolled her eyes and continued on with her day. I had an important appointment to get to, and Karen's disrespectful behavior left me no choice but to call a tow truck to move her car. The next morning, Karen came marching over to my house, pounding on the door. She demanded her car back, but I stood my ground and refused. "What do you mean you won't give me my car back?" Karen yelled. "You parked in my driveway and blocked me in," I replied calmly. "I had it towed to teach you a lesson." And that's when she snapped. Karen pushed her way into my house, searching for her car keys. I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. She barged through my living room, tearing apart cushions and flipping over furniture in a fit of rage. "Where is my car?" she demanded. "It's gone," I told her, "and now so are you." I called the police, and Karen was soon faced with the consequences of her actions. She was arrested for breaking and entering, and the judge gave her a harsh sentence as a lesson for her entitled behavior. Looking back, I'm glad I stood up for myself and taught Karen a lesson. She may never have realized the impact her actions had on others if someone hadn't taken a stand. My neighbors and I now live in peace, and Karen has moved away to a different neighborhood. The memory of her entitled behavior serves as a reminder to always treat others with kindness and respect, and that is a lesson that we should all strive to learn and live by. Ran into an entitled mom and her daughter at Walmart today. I wish the kid was actually nice, but both were entitled. So for background, I have an amazing set of Razer Kraken Pro V2 headphones I got off of Amazon for $80. They are quartz, they are pink, and I got them to poke fun at my friend cause I had pink headphones and they didn't, plus my previous set, normal green ones, had just broken. Now I was in Walmart getting some sodas and looking at some crap that interested me, listening to some music and ignoring people. I had the volume up loud enough so that I couldn't hear people. I think the entitled mother was trying to get my attention at that point, cause I felt someone tap my shoulder and I turned around. Cast as a standard, me, the entitled mother-daughter who was maybe 16 or 17. I take off my phones to hear her. So after she tapped my shoulder, I take off my headphones to hear her. "What?"
"My daughter likes your headphones."
"Oh, thanks."
"How much for them?" "My daughter really wants them. We have been looking for headphones for ages." "I want the pink ones."
"Oh, I got him off Amazon for..." But the entitled mother cuts me off.
"No, how much for those ones? I'll pay you 20 for them."
"What?" I laughed thinking she was joking, but she wasn't.
"Fine, 25. Take it or leave it."
"Lady, I got these for over 80. These are Razer Kraken Bros gaming headphones. Get some yourself."
"Oh, but my daughter needs them. She's a gamer."
"Oh, what's her favorite game then?"
I need them for a Fortnite tournament.
I laugh. Kid, get your own and play better games.
Don't laugh at my child.
Lady, listen, how about no, okay? Or how about you leave me alone?
Watch your mouth, kid.
You shouldn't say those words.
Yeah, only adults can say swear words.
Oh, then which one of you should I listen to?
Both of us. A child like you shouldn't use those words. That's adult language.
Well, guess what? Let me tell you this once. I'm an adult witch. I gonna do a post to be extra, not gonna lie.
Well, I'm your elder.
So, you have no authority over me, so I don't need to listen to you if I don't want to.
Give me your headphones. You owe me them now. I want the pink one, Mom.
How about no? Leave me alone. The entitled daughter cries and the entitled mother loses it.
Look at what you did. You give those headphones to my baby now.
Just get lost. I then leave and end up getting a Hatsune Miku poster and two My Hero Academia posters along with some soda. I check out and start to leave and see a friend who works there along with the entitled mother and daughter. The entitled mother says to my friend,
"There, that's the witch who stole my headphones."
My friend asks her, "Really?" I say, "Hey friend." "Hey OB."
You work here. How unprofessional. They stole my headphones. Stop them.
"Hey friend. We go to the same school. Have you seen me wearing these in the halls?" "Yeah, since like last February. Why?"
They are a liar. You should give those headphones back to my daughter.
Would I have had them since February from what my friend knows if I stole them from you today? I used air quotes. The entitled mother is silent for a moment before trying to protest, but the friend protects my property. The entitled mother tries to convince her that the headphones were owed to her, but to no avail. In the end, the entitled mother starts screaming at both of us and is detained by security for her nonsense. While writing this, I got a text from my friend. Apparently, the entitled mother was high off cocaine. And had a baggie in her purse, and the entitled daughter had weed on her. So both were practically arrested. I'm fully aware that this story will sound absurd. It also requires some context. I live in Greece. While in college, I work part-time as a tour guide on the Acropolis. I have several stories from that time, but I'll stick to the most ridiculous and sad one. I'm bilingual, so I got to work with a lot of English-speaking tourist groups. A lot of groups often cause problems for guides and sites, from refusing to take our advice and dun hats and a generous application of sunscreen. The number of pale people I've seen suffer sunburns, sunstrokes, and even heat strokes up on the rock is near astronomical. To coming to the tour hungover or even straight off drunk, to pestering everyone about selfies and photographs, to just not listening to the rules of the site. There is a lot of ways to make your guides very angry at you, though we always try to be polite about it. I was taking a group of tourists off a cruise ship, probably one of the most common groups at the time I was working, on the standard Acropolis tour. It's mid-July, so it's picking hot up there, even though it is early in the morning. After 11-ish AM it becomes nigh unbearable if you aren't used to it. So I have a few cranky, overheating folks, but I like to think my lecture is at least keeping them engaged enough, as most people are interested, polite, and asking questions. So far, so good. I tended to let people have a few moments at each point of interest to grab photos and ask me questions after I'd finished my spiel. During one of these moments, one of the members of the group discreetly tries to whisper to me. I'm used to it. Most people ask for the bathroom like this. This lady, however, points out a particular gentleman who was with his wife and daughter and mentioned he'd been talking about taking a souvenir, and she didn't think he meant to gift shop stuff. Now this sort of thing gets any guide on high alert. Antiquity theft is an old and sort of problem in Greece, and nobody in their right mind looks kindly upon that sort of thing. I decide to keep my eye on the gentleman as much as I can, just in case. Inwardly, I'm praying that he isn't as dumb as I think he will be. Things are quiet for the next 2 stops until we come to a location near the Parthenon, which is where I normally give some information about the restoration process and the current preservation research. The location is in fact tried by the active restoration site and has a lot of stone pieces lying around, either awaiting process/preservation or ready to be hauled for placement back on the monument. Most pieces are really big, but some are fairly small-sized chunks of marble. Some are carved in a particular way. It is a mix of original pieces of the Parthenon and new stone carted over to replace bits that have been destroyed. After my spiel, I allow them time to ask questions and take photos. While I'm answering a boy's question, out of the corner of my eye, I see the gentleman pinned down as if to tie up his shoelace and scoop up a piece of marble, which he shoves into his cargo pants pocket, assuming he's some master of sleight of hand. I immediately approach him, and to the best of my memory, here is how it went. "Excuse me, sir. Please return the stone you took to where you found it. This is an active archaeological and restoration site. No artifacts are to be removed." "I'm not sure I understand what you're saying." "Sir, you understand perfectly. I'm a native speaker. You picked up a stone from the restoration workshop area. You need to put it back immediately." "I didn't take anything." "Sir, I saw you pick up a piece of marble and put it in your pocket. Please put it back. Otherwise, it constitutes antiquity theft and vandalism of an archaeological site, and I will be forced to call site security, who will then contact the police." At this point, fortunately, the lady who first brought him to my attention pipes up that she too saw him take it and kindly advises him to just put it back. All this time, the lady that I presume is his wife has just been impatiently waiting for the group to move on. A young man about 17 or so that I presume is their son has whipped out his phone and looks like he wants nothing to do with this mess. "Oh my god. Are you really going to make a fuss over a little piece of stone? No one's gonna miss it. I bet people take nonsense from this place all the time. It's like the Berlin Wall." I'm really angry by this point. I very much wanted to snap at him that he may not understand the culture and emotional value that the Acropolis represents for Greece. Looking back, that's obviously unfair to the rest of the group, who look quite ashamed and are awkwardly trying to not get involved. I tell him, "Sir, this place is a site of priceless historical culture and archaeological value, and every bit of it counts as an artifact. It also is an active restoration site, and that stone is part of what's left of an already damaged and pillaged building. Please put it back, or I will have to inform security. I've already taken my phone out to ring my supervisor." "I'm done. I want to leave. I paid an overpriced ticket and this is how I get treated? I'm leaving." "Sir, you have to remain here. Security is on their way." To make a long story short, security caught him just as he was trying to leave, and the police also were called. I asked the lady who first pointed him out to confirm my story, and thankfully she did. From what I heard, the man was left off with a severe warning and banned from the greater Acropolis site. The cops who showed up to escort him and his family to the police station were pretty stern with them, and all they did was whine that they would miss their cruise and the rest of the day trips. I worked there for a couple of years after that incident till I graduated. Like I said, plenty of stories, but none this wild. Edit. Sorry for the omission. The marble piece was returned. When they detained him, the security guys got the piece back. A member of the site's restoration workforce returned it to the site and cautioned us guides to be more aware. I did not get in much trouble, fortunately, since my supervisor had proof I handled it well. For context, the software development company I intern at uses a special sheet to estimate the cost of building a certain software for a client. The sheet includes employees working on the project, how long they estimate it'll take, yada yada yada. After an intern goes around the department collecting this info from the previous employees, we then calculate the cost and send it to the client to accept or reject. Side note, sorry I forgot to add this. Since our company is so popular in the area, we have a pretty long query sometimes, so if you reject the estimate, chances are you might have to wait in the queue all over again to request a new one. So the day was slow and they mostly had me man the phones and go on coffee runs. Typical intern stuff. Then a client called in saying she wants a piece of clock-in software for her employees so she can more accurately track their work hours. By this point into my internship, I had done at least 4 to 5 of these sheets at least. And I was taught by my supervisor how to identify which departments would be needed for which projects. So after gathering the details from the client, I hang up and translate the needs for the employees, essentially explain it in programmer jargon. Half an hour later I'm done with the sheet and I have checked the calculations 3 times, so I email it to the client and I swear not even 2 minutes later I get an estimate rejected message. Half an hour later I am done with the sheet and I have checked the calculations 3 times, so I email it to the client and I swear not even 2 minutes later I get an estimate rejected message on the company smartphone I was given. She added a reply stating, "This estimate is not compliable with me." So I responded to it with, "We are sorry to hear that, ma'am. Please enjoy the rest of your day." And then I go about my business. Roughly an hour later she emails the phone again asking, "Is that all you have to say?" By this point I realized what she was trying to do and reported to my supervisor that Miss Karen was trying to haggle the price. My supervisor calls Karen's phone and asks if she would like to have the estimate resent to her so she can accept. And Karen's outright tells her she wants a cheaper price, to which my supervisor tells her the price is non-negotiable and to take it as is. So Karen uses her signature move of, "Let me speak to your manager." But my supervisor simply informed her that she'd get the same response and just hung up on her. Karen eventually did call back and even showed up to the building to renegotiate the price, but she was shot down every time and eventually stopped doing that. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.